In this practice, we'll look at 3 different actions that you can do to align your shoulders, to strengthen the shoulder action, and to create a little bit more flexibility in the rotation of the shoulders. So you can apply these actions to your yoga postures. Let's begin in a standing position. Possibly the poses that you do the most in your practice are Virabhadrasana 2, a warrior pose, and triangle pose. And to refine the alignment of the upper chest and to create more strength in the actions in the shoulders, place your hands in front of you as if you're squeezing a block. Spread your fingers, squeeze the imaginary block. Bend the elbows just slightly. From here, draw your hands wide. Feel how the shoulder blades hug in really nicely. We'll do that again. Take the hands forward, spread your fingers, draw in from the fingers all the way to the heart. As you do, bend your elbows, take your arms out wide, lift your hands just slightly. And notice the contrast. If you let your arms draw down, notice how the neck feels like it's supporting so much of the weight of the arms. So lift the hands up. Feel how the shoulder blades hug in, and you get so much openness to the upper chest. Now release your hands and step wide. Now we'll apply this first action of the arms in standing poses. We'll first do Virabhadrasana number 2. Turn your right toes out, bend your right knee, and now the action of the shoulders. As you take your imaginary block forward and you squeeze the block with your hands, you pull the heads of the arm bones back and you expand so fully. And the hands are lifted just slightly above your shoulders. You can turn the palms down to come to the full form of the pose. As you maintain this engagement of drawing in from the fingertips to the armpit, toward the heart, all the way to the pelvis, you may be able to drop into the pose a little bit deeper as you take your gaze out over your extended hand. On the inhale, breath, root down through the back foot to rise up out of the pose. Let's come to the opposite side, left side. As you turn your left toes out, look at the alignment, bend your front knee, place your hands forward, squeeze the imaginary block, pull in from the fingertips to the heart, extend out, slight bend to the elbows, allow you to engage the muscles that support your shoulders. As you turn your hands down to come to the full form of the pose, gaze out over your extended hand. Slowly drop yourself a little bit deeper into the pose. Inhale, come out of the pose. Release your hands. Step your feet hip distance apart into Tadasana. Pause here. Just reflect on the action. See if you can maintain the fullness of the upper chest. With your eyes bright again, take the hands forward. Take the heads of the arm bones back with the elbows slightly bent. Open up. Just feel this nice freedom of the pose. Release your hands down. Step wide again. Turn your right toes out. Let's apply that to triangle pose. Take your hands forward. Pull back. Reach out. And with this full expansion, draw down into the pose. Notice how the action just allows this nice opening in the chest. Root down to inhale, rise up. Come to the opposite side, pull your hands in, Bend your elbows with the left toes turning out. Expand very fully. From here, draw yourself into the fullness of Uttitha Trikonasana, nice triangle pose. You get this nice opening of your lifted shoulder. So often in this pose, it's so hard to get that fullness of the upper chest, but with a strong action of the arms to open the shoulders, you can allow the effulgence of the pose to really reveal itself. Root down to inhale and rise up. Exhale, release your hands and step your feet back to Tadasana. In Tadasana, number 2, the second way to get further engagement and rotation in the shoulders is to interlace your fingers behind your back. And as you interlace your fingers behind your back, you take your interlaced fingers over to the right side and pull the elbows toward each other. Notice now how the forearm that's against the back allows your belly to draw forward. So see if you can pull back from the navel back toward the spine so that you get nice fullness there. Release your hands. Now let's apply that to a standing pose. So step your feet wide. Interlace your fingers behind your back. Take the interlaced fingers to the right side as you turn your right toes out. Bend your right knee. Keep your back leg really strong. Squeeze the elbows in toward each other. And now notice how the front ribs like to float forward. So see if you can draw the low ribs back to get a nice tone in the abdominal area as you draw your heart down toward the inner knee. Keep squeezing the elbows in toward each other. Maintain a nice engagement to the back leg. Soften even more. Root down to inhale. Lift yourself up to come out of the pose. Exhale. Release your hands. Parallel your feet. Interlace the fingers behind your back. Take your interlaced fingers to the opposite side, to the left side. Squeeze the elbows in. Bend your knees slightly. Take your pelvis back. Allow your heart to just soften down. And as you do, notice how you get nice engagement here of the side body as you continue to let yourself just soften. The elbows continue to hug in toward each other. Inhale, pull from the feet in toward the midline to rise up. Now take your hands to the opposite direction. Hug the elbows in so that now the pec major and pec minor on the side really open up nicely. As you squeeze the elbows in, bend your knees again. Take your pelvis back. Soften, draw down toward the earth as you keep the elbows hugging in. Pull your feet in toward each other so strong legs help you lift up to come out of the pose. Now turn your left toes out. Take your interlaced fingers to the left side. Hug the elbows in to really open up the left side of the upper chest. Bend your knee. Draw your heart down toward the inner knee. Keep the strength of the back leg as you soften even more. Pull the elbows in toward each other. Now pull the feet in isometrically toward each other to assist you in rising up out of the pose. And release your hands. Step your feet back to Tadasana. In Tadasana, just pause. So you've applied the shoulder movements to different standing poses. Now we'll work with the third method, and I love this. I call it the cactus pose in some other videos that I've done. A lot of times they call it the W pose. As you take your hands in this cactus pose, look at your elbows. See if you can take the elbows slightly forward and take your hands back. Now reach your hands back, keeping the hands nice and wide apart. Take your gaze up. Now bend your elbows again. Elbows forward, hands back. Reach back. You want to go really slow in this action. Come back to the original form of the pose. We'll do that one more time. Elbows forward, hands back, fingers are spread. Draw the hands back, not to straight arms, but just to open the chest nicely. And release. So this is a pose that is great to do during the day. Really helps to get this nice fullness and serves as a nice energetic quality, this back bending action. Now let's apply that in the yoga pose. We'll do a lunge with your right foot forward. Step your left foot back. Bend your front knee with the right knee drawing forward. The back leg straight. Take the hands in this W form or cactus pose. Take the elbows forward. Take the palms back. See if you can balance and look up. Reach your hands back. Now do that again. Come to the original form of the pose. Take the elbows forward. Take the hands back. Reach back. Go slow. Stay balanced. We'll do this one more time. Come back to this W form. Take the elbows forward. Take the hands back. Stretch your hands back just a wee bit while keeping the shoulder blades nice and engaged. Release your arms down and step your back foot forward. Let's come to the opposite side. So with the left foot forward, the right foot back, bend your left knee. Take your hands in this cactus pose, spread your fingers, reach your elbows forward. Now that you've worked on the shoulders so much, see if you can reach back, almost like the hands are carrying pies. Just reach back. And now again, bend your elbows, elbows forward, hands back, gaze up, hands back, gaze back. One more time, bend your elbows, take your elbows forward, hands back, reach back, and slowly release your hands to step your back foot forward. And there you have it. 3 different ways to align your arms for strength, for greater rotation in the shoulders, but especially for alignment. Thank you for joining me in the practice. Namaste.